रेलवे स्टेशन आई डोंट नो तू ट्रेन में कितने सालों से नहीं गया, बट स्टेशन में नहीं होता कि देखिए 15 मिनट में इस ट्रैक नंबर 8 पे आ रही है, कृपया यात्रीगण, उसका नेक्स्ट वर्ड भूल गया मैं, कृपया यात्रीगण ध्यान रखिए, नहीं ध्यान रखनी है, कुछ तो रखिए इज व्हाट आई रिमेंबर, बट या
अच्छी नेक्स्ट पॉडकास्ट के लिए
ट्रेन का ट्रैवलिंग अलग ही मजा है
भाई। इंडिया में लोकल ट्रेन इज अ ब्यूटीफुल एक्सपीरियंस, I think to me personally, I'm
not the I'm talking about the long distance wala OTT.
नहीं यार
You have the flat bathrooms, man. The toilets are on the floor.
Okay, I'm sorry, but that is probably something that is a game changer for you. I am from the हम उसी जमाने और उस सब के वो है
Bro,
for a very long time
इतना झुक नहीं
मेरे
सकता
घर
मैं।
में वही था, like at least till 9th grade तक तो होगा मेरे घर में वो।
I think मेरी family में, yeah, probably, okay, actually very weirdly, like around like when I was in my teenage years, जब जाके like वो change होता,
Yeah.
तो
Yeah, used to it
ट्रेन में
completely.
केविन,
You guys are living in the primitive country.
अभी तू भी वहीं पे है ना अभी अभी
केविन तो वेट कर रहा है कि वो
भाई इतना झुक नहीं सकता, and not only that, भाई aiming issues होता है man, it shakes, the whole train is shaking sometimes.
Again भाई ये अब तुम्हें आदत नहीं है, मैं क्या बोलूं जब जो निकलना होता है निकल जाता है।
I mean, I would अगर मैं अकेला ट्रैवल कर रहा हूँ तो I would prefer flight, but if I have company, I would any day prefer train over flight.
With
any
family, especially when I was young,
Yeah,
those were just very joyous occasion. यार हर स्टेशन में कटलेट वटलेट लाते थे वो,
Like, I was
अलग वो, अब मुझे हमें ना वो देते थे कि चिल्लड़ वगैरह लेते थे कि इतने पे इससे
What is this train? I've
पॉकेट
never
मनी
heard
जैसे
of this common transport, you know.
आकाश अभी तू यूके की ट्रेन में गया ना, तुझे आतंकवादी बुलाएंगे तू क्या बोल रहा है?
and you know इंडिया का ये ट्रेन वाला सिस्टम बहुत ही अच्छा है. It's much better than any of the transportation in India में connectivity wise, it's one of the
No,
best.
yeah, that I can say as well. When I take a train from Delhi to Chandigarh normally,
that's a very posh route. See, if you travel through the central, obviously, अगर तुम central India के through pass करोगे, it's going to be very hazardous. And Kevin probably has seen the west to south or north to south journey. Kevin, तू mute पे है by the way.
Posh route, man.
But Kevin को तो कोई सी भी route पे भेज दे, उसके लिए वो audio होने वाला है.
No, Kevin is more adaptable than this guy. Akash, I think will feel. Akash
is not even in the picture. Akash.
No, yeah.
नहीं. Yeah.
Our trains in the underground in UK are amazing.
Abbe, Arnab, अरे one of the funniest things ever. I just remember. Do you know when we got into Amtrak पहली बार US में, तो यार अब imagine करो कि I come from a lower middle class family यार, तो मैं Amtrak में अंदर घुसा तो I was like, भाई कितनी साफ है. I remember this guy says, Akash, I didn't know that these trains in Indiana, man, they're so unclean.
Really?
And I just remember because somebody had left like I think chips ka something was left right before something, and they also tucked it.
I can't remember seeing this.
When we went to Chicago or somewhere, and Amtrak पे गए थे, it was a very
possible.
It was a very offhanded comment. It was not a serious comment also, but it was just like क्या यार ये साफ नहीं रखते, and I was like एक इसके वजह से इसको ये, because to me it seemed like wow भाई.
I've been in India train station. I've seen it, man. So maybe it was a joke at that time. But
no, that's my point. यहाँ पे I have literally like जब हम नॉर्थ में स्पेशली होते थे, बहुत सारे टूरिस्ट ये कैमरा वाले जो एज में है, like when I took I went from Calcutta to Patna in 2016-17. Around 6 p.m. sun is, तो ये बंदा कहता है I want to catch sunrise or something, और जैसे वो कैमरा निकलता है सामने आके कोई टॉयलेट वही सामने उसके आंखों के सामने उतार और I found it very hilarious के बंदे का expression, but to us it's very normal, right? ट्रेन की पटरी में यार कौन कोई सिंटास करे, but yeah.
What if you shit on a train, it just goes on the track
anyway. I was about to say that.
Exactly. I remember. I used to see. I'm like, this is just blank, like hollow.
Natural होता
It'll
है.
just go on the track.
हम जमीन से आते हैं, उसी जमीन में वापस चले जाते हैं.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
I mean,
we could have a whole topic on
Okay,
this.
just to be clear, I'm making fun of train, but at the same time, I did that was my main source of traveling when I was in India, like
I
childhood.
think it's still a lot of people's main source of
सबका
traveling.
वही, yeah, it's still very common
I-
in India.
I mean,
If
now
you,
it's changed, right? I mean, I'm thinking for us it has changed.
Kevin,
Like
मैं
flight has
अभी
become a
no,
more
flight
frequent
outside
option.
of your state of residence probably, but inside the
Hmm.
state also
Yeah.
for me right now. जब अगर हमें अभी जब लास्ट ईयर फ्लड्स हुए थे से लेकर, जब अगर हमें जैसे कोच्चि जाना है या किसी इनके दादा दादी से मिलने जाना है, फास्टर देन अ कार एंड फ्लाइट से तो बहुत दूर है. रिमोट एरियाज में जाने के लिए स्टिल नंबर वन वे इज
Yes, train.
ट्रेन, because it takes each place has
No,
a
see,
क्या कहते हैं अपना अपना station and it's much easier.
see the AC chair car and stuff is pretty
Yeah,
clean. I would say fairly decent. I would say decent.
yeah, and it's still very affordable. General वाला भी काफी affordable है. And Kevin, see, there are tricks to this. If you should always if you want really cleanliness का तुम्हें इतना फर्क पड़ रहा है, तो हमेशा try to get into the station जहाँ से ट्रेन शुरू हो रही है. That's a very simple thing कि एटलीस्ट शुरुआत के टाइम तुम्हें तुम्हारा एरिया एटलीस्ट साफ होगा. Wherever एसी में हो, जनरल में हो. पर एक जनरल में केविन एक अलग मजा भी होता है, बिकॉज you get to
Yeah, general में तो मैं कह नहीं हूँ. एक
see,
बार
that's
गया
my
हूँ
point. Like
बस.
I'm not saying okay, I get it. Hygiene wise, मैं तुम्हारे पे सवाल नहीं उठा रहा. But I feel you meet a lot of actual India colorful people वहाँ पे काफी मिलते हैं.
And best खाना वहीं मिलता है.
Okay,
नहीं उनकी best for
you know the biggest problem is when you go to the what do you call it, like the faucet, like to wash your hands, like you have to touch the pipe and everyone is like touching it with your dirty
I mean-
hand. Like there is no point
I
to
can
it.
imagine
Like okay, you put soap on
कि
your hand.
केविन जो कहीं ट्रैवल नहीं करता, घर में बैठ के 3 बार नहाता था, वो अगर ट्रेन में चले जाए ऐसे ट्रैवल में जनरल वार्ड में, तो वो
Kevin-
पागल ही हो जाए बंदा.
भाई मैं तुझे बोल रहा हूँ ना, like I completely like hygiene level पे
No, there is a way around
there
it.
are many.
I'll wash my hands and I'll carry a hand sanitizer. So then after I wash my hand,
Oh, I
I'll
thought
use
you were like
hand
you were talking about
sanitizer and
showering
then
on
use-
trains or something. I just came in the middle. I'm like, that's how you shower with hand sanitizer on a train? I was like, oh my god. I floated out to the car.
There is no shower, Akash. You're not allowed to take a shower.
किसने
I
बोला?
thought he was like-
भाई लोग मग्गा लेके लाते हैं घर से,
Yeah,
मंजन
yeah.
लाते हैं वहाँ पे. क्या बात
I've
करते
actually
हो तुम?
seen that happen. on the
लॉन्ग
train.
ट्रैवल में लोग बाथरूम में जाके करते हैं.
No.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen.
That is why the train is so dirty and disgusting. Like पूरा कीचड़ अंदर.
Okay, but if you
जूतों के
remove those
साथ.
angles from it, यार scenic beauty हमारे देश की unparalleled है. I feel unparalleled. If you go through these areas, जो हर स्टेशन में तुम्हें लोकल डेलिकेसीज मिलेंगे. जो पास थ्रू ईच स्टेट, सुबह के टाइम तुम्हें पता है कि सबसे अच्छी चाय कहाँ पे मिलेगी. अलग अलग स्टेशन में पीपल विल टॉक एंड टेल यू कि जब हम पिछली बार इस रूट में गए थे तो यहाँ इस स्टेशन पे अच्छा मिलता है. एंड देन यू गेट टू लाइक लिटरली सी अ ट्रांजिशन ऑफ जियोग्राफी
UK,
हमारी
we
कैसे
have
चेंज
very
होती है.
clean convenience stores that offer a variety of crisps or drinks at their train station.
बट आकाश, हर स्टेशन पे सेम ही चीज मिलती है अनफॉर्चुनेटली वहाँ यूके में. इंडिया में एवरी कपल
That I'll
ऑफ
agree, yeah.
आवर्स
That
देयर
I'll
विल बी अ
agree.
स्टेशन
जैसे
जहाँ पे
if you
यूनिक
दोपहर-
आइटम मिलेगा.
जब
That's
तू
true.
दोपहर को अगर मध्य प्रदेश से स्टार्ट करता है, यू स्टार्ट समवेयर अराउंड भोपाल या उसमें एरिया में तो स्टार्ट कर रहा है, तो यू
अच्छा तू यहाँ पे है, मैं तेरे को यूनिक दिखाता पहले. मारूंगा तेरे को. साला यूनिक की
अबे
बात कर रहा
अर्नव,
है.
तू मेरे साथ, मैं तुझे 6 से 12 स्टेशन है एक्चुअली. ये अभी केरला में बस ये फंसा हुआ है गवर्नमेंट ऑफिस के बीच में, तो इसका दूसरा फ्रस्ट्रेशन है. तुझे मैं स्टेशन बाय स्टेशन ऐसी चीजें खिलाऊंगा ना.
नहीं नहीं.
मतलब केविन,
You know, if they're clean, I
Kevin,
will agree
you
to anything. Like basic cleanliness
Kevin,
is a requirement, and it is a major
if
problem
you
in
found
India.
Southern Railways unclean ना, तो तू सेंट्रल या नॉर्दर्न रेलवेज गया ना, मर जाएगा तू.
No, exact. No, I have traveled to MP and stuff in train. So yes, Southern Rail is a lot more clean, but I still think that there is a lot of changes that need
Yeah,
to be brought.
Kevin.
For
Yeah,
example, the basic example of the
Listen, we could
faucet
save this for a
design
topic.
itself is so
Actually, we
bad.
could save this for a topic, honestly, because we are talking on this for a long
no,
time.
okay, I get कि faucet वाले वो issues है, but don't you think कि last 5-10 years में it's improving gradually यार इतनी जल्दी
Yeah, and you cannot
होने नहीं वाला है.
expect.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Vele podcast. Yeah, I forgot.
Akash forgot the episode.
I was
Oh,
about to say the
God.
episode number, and then I just remembered that screw it, no episode number. That I am your host Akash, alongside Amrit, Kevin, and Arnav. Today we have
What's
a
up?
variety of
we
topics to
have
discuss,
to
very light-hearted topics.
we have to displace him and इसकी जगह केविन को host बना देते हैं. Kevin अब तू
That'd be very good.
Ghanta. I'll be going so off topic on a different tangent
नहीं नहीं
altogether.
अबे
The
जिस जिस
podcast will
जिस
never get
एपिसोड
done.
में माय फेवरेट इज क्योंकि अब मुझे पता नहीं हमारे कितने लिसनर्स ने हमारा बिगी और पार्क वाला वो अनसॉल्व्ड मिस्ट्रीज पार्ट 1 सुना था. दैट इज अ पॉडकास्ट वी पुट अ लॉट ऑफ वर्क इनटू. प्लीज गो बैक एंड लिसन टू इट. बट बेस्ट पार्ट इज केविन डज नॉट इंट्रोड्यूस इट एट ऑल. टॉपिक नहीं बोलता
No, he goes straight into it.
no first line is like I've told you guys.
Yeah.
मुझे बहुत 90s
When
और
I was
hip-hop
editing
interest-
it, I thought maybe our
And the-
editing got
no.
cut. Then I'm like, no, it's just
No, the thing is, Kevin has done it in such a beautiful way, ढंग से research करके
Yeah,
आया,
yeah.
but
He
not
did
once does he
proper
tell कि किस चीज की बात हो रही है. कि टॉपिक क्या है, unsolved mysteries, किस चीज की बात है, कोई कुछ नहीं बोला उसने. But yeah.
Anyway, this is the podcast
Right.
where we talk about random things we want to talk about. Okay, guys, so it's been a very sad day for sports. Maradona's death, Argentinian legend, football legend, one of the best footballers to ever have existed. So I was going to say, name your Maradona moments. Does anyone have any Maradona moments?
They happened before I was born, but all
No,
I
but
ever
like
saw,
you've heard of.
all I saw was the England match, the first
That's what I was
goal,
gonna
and
say,
then
hand of God.
the hand of God, and the one where he dribbled past everyone.
Because everyone in England hated him after that. I remember that because
Who was the
he cost them.
keeper? कौन था? Peter Shilton या someone, ना?
I
Who
think
was
so,
like-
yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen couple of highlights on uske, and it reminds me so much of Messi because Messi को मैंने अभी देखा है, especially when he's dribbling past everyone, right? Like completely Messi को you can overlay Messi on top of him. ऐसा लगता है at least in some of the highlights.
But he was the second. People always said after Pele, he was second, probably best Maradona. People rate him that high.
You'll find enough people who'll say that Maradona was better and Pele had a better
Yeah,
team around him always. You could say.
I
mean,
think
you can say,
in my opinion, as a goal scorer, Pele was greater. I think overall player, Messi is greater than Maradona. But as a number 10, a creator and like a guy who can do anything and win for the team, that is Maradona. That was one trait in him, that he'll do anything and everything for the team to win. And his creating skills, like as a number 10, a definition of a number 10, that is what he is. Messi is not
He was
exactly
both.
10. Messi is a combination of 10, false 9,
Nine.
flash of winger, inside forward cutting in. He does like multiple things. But Maradona is a true advanced playmaker.
But I mean that's because game has changed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say there's an
Mhm,
evolution that you can't ignore. Like him having to
Yeah.
look up and staying inside those bounds is because people didn't stray from their position in those times.
Exactly.
So he had to do more of that role because और कोई वो role नहीं करेगा. If you see a majority of the plays when he cuts to both sides, वो ऊपर देखता है, ढूंढ रहा है वो रन को. मेसी जैसे प्लेयर को बोला जाता है कि तुम्हें 4 प्लेयर को काटना है, तुम्हें या तो उन्हें खुद आउट रन करना है या खुद भी वो करना है.
That's
I
why
wouldn't want
Nicholas
to compare-
Bentner
I
is
do-
known. He does everything. He does everything. He defends. He dribbles. He scores in his own net sometimes, and the opposition's net sometimes as well.
my
Akash,
favorite is when during the Wenger era, they had this player Gail Clichy करके, and
Oh,
somebody dubbed
he
over
was-
Wenger's voice. Clichy scored 2 goals, so I'm very happy with his performance. But what happened is Clichy scored a very amazing goal, and late in the match he scored an own goal. So, this was reminded of that. But
It was supposed to be a tribute for Maradona, but okay.
Yeah, he
Rest
just
in peace to the
insulted
legend.
Maradona by talking about Nicholas Bird.
no, I was trying to insult Messi. Maradona, is higher. But didn't Maradona's always been like very passionate about football, even like as a coach, man. Say what you may about his coach.
Akash,
I
Akash, you
I think
can't
he was
say
a
it.
horrible
He's
coach.
always been so
After
passionate about it, like you know him or something. Like he's
no,
always
like
been so passionate about
yeah,
football.
no. Maradona and me go back way back.
Abbe, but I think genuinely the best tribute to him that we should probably just point out is like he had to stand alone and take it took a team of
Yeah.
other players who should not have been there to a World Cup win 80s mein. It was an amazing thing. 86 jeete na wo.
Yeah, no one
Yeah.
expected, I think, at that time, no one
Yeah, I
expected
think
Argentina to come out,
yeah,
if I'm
to
right.
be to single-handedly lead them to that, I think that's legendary. फिर उसने Napoli जैसी team को he made them win too, right? A team which to this day
He,
remembers him so fondly.
no, he
And
got
I mean,
Napoli to
opposed
win 2 league titles and 1
two
Champions
league
League, I
titles, no?
believe. Yeah.
Oh,
He
Champions
won.
League. Is
Oh
it?
my God! No,
Okay,
Well,
wow.
Euro Cup, European Cup. At that time, it was
yeah,
called
Oh,
the
okay.
okay.
European
Yeah,
Cup.
you're okay.
Different
But
rules a
So
little bit, but yeah.
also he came to India, na? I remember
he came to
when that
Kerala.
trip, Kerala, and he
He came to
promoted football a
Kerala
lot there.
because here in parts of here he's like a demigod to people. So yeah, rest in peace to the legend.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Like
Like
you,
more than
you
Another.
can
his,
go to some areas of you can go to some areas of Kerala and you see like all the walls are painted either with the Brazil flag or the
Kerala,
Argentinian flag.
Goa, Kerala, Goa, Bengal,
Kerala, Goa,
in
Bengal.
सब में it's a huge thing.
Sad at a young age, relatively as well.
60, yeah,
60.
60 is nothing.
No
Nothing.
way.
60 is
I
nothing.
I think Zlatan Ibrahimovic said it right. He said that he should only talk about his on-field. Whatever was his off-field activities, that is his private thing. So if you're remembering him, just talk about his on-field. He
Yeah, at the
requested
end
Yeah.
of the
everyone
day,
to do that.
I remember those highlights. I
Yeah.
remember I went and just watched a lot of compilations of his highlights. I have no interest
Yeah.
in anything else that happened.
but I
That's
think
how I'm going.
even on field because of on field he has inspired next generations, right? Like
Mm.
Yeah.
as like मैं soccer fan नहीं हूँ, but I still know Maradona. I never used to watch soccer till I met you guys. उसके पहले मुझे कुछ except World Cups.
Yeah,
But
we call it
Maradona was such an
football.
iconic figure.
He was one of those names that transcended a bit of the sport at times as well.
Yeah,
No,
and
he
even in
did
You've heard.
India.
transcend.
So
By people who have not even seen, who have no
Yeah, they
interest in
know.
sports in general, know कि अच्छा Maradona करके कोई है. It's like Sachin Tendulkar का नाम in the subcontinent or outside is
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
much like that.
I'm sure kids that time they were inspired because of him and they went into soccer या कुछ भी. And maybe some of the professional players might be उसके
No, and he was such a free-spirited, like off the people kind of guy. Like he was so passionate about whatever he did, like, and he wanted it so much, and he would celebrate like a child almost, you know,
yeah.
whatever
And
he
he's
did.
very
Like
connected to his fans.
the
Very
fans
connected
and
to his
people, like he was like Pele was part of like a Invincibles, and he will statistically and style of it's okay. If his team in his prime took on the Argentinians in their prime, it would be a slaughter. Because Brazil ka that starting 11 is like 11 gladiators. At each of them are like that. Their way of playing was unfair to everyone else. This guy's team, if you just go and see his goals and वो कैसे run बना रहे हैं, अच्छे player हैं. They're all legendary players in their own right. But he had to carry that burden, in my opinion, single-handedly a lot more than any other player, and to win. See, that's the most important thing. He won a World Cup. Football World Cup is among the hardest competitive things to win
Yeah.
ever. Like you can see हम मेसी को कितने higher level पे डालते हैं. Like I consider him the greatest हमारे at least era का. But it is so hard to win a World Cup. Like the number of things that have to go your
I
way.
mean,
So yeah.
it is definitely, it's very hard. I mean, the guy has quit the team like, I don't know, 10 times already and came back to the team.
I think they
Just to
keep.
clarify,
I think,
he's talking
Talking
about
about
Messi,
Messi.
not
yeah,
Maradona.
Messi quit the
you
team,
know, we are doing a
carried his-
tribute. You know, we are doing a tribute to
Yeah,
Maradona,
but
right?
still,
Not Messi.
no, but still, I have to get my digs in there,
But you can
Kevin.
actually
Unless he
see
joins Chelsea.
you can actually watch Messi's game and then watch Maradona's game, and you can see like how much Maradona has influenced Messi as well in his game.
By
Like
ridiculously.
even
Oh
in
yeah,
his style of
It's
dribbling.
a lot.
no the close control, the way that whip-like movement in their feet and the way वो angles use करके जाते हैं. it seems, I feel, and I don't like saying this, I feel Messi has a lot more of it, but I think that might be do with better studs, field quality, and all of that also.
Messi might have a bit more flair, no? But Maradona was
Maradona is much more bulky built and also his dribbling
he
and his movement will be a
stocky,
little bit
kind
more
of
restricted compared. He's stocky, yeah.
stocky,
Yeah, but
short.
Kevin,
and-
वो 80s के footballers में fitness का उसका का होता नहीं था, but yeah.
yeah.
Like if you look at all of them, apart from the Dutch, everyone else had a little bit of a gut wasn't particularly an issue. Look at the English
I mean,
players in
think
the
about it.
80s.
A 33-year-old, a 33-year-old. Look at Ronaldo, 35-year-old. These guys are still playing on the prime of their life. I mean,
Ronaldo looks like a machine, but yeah.
like 20 years back, if you would have told me a 33-year-old player is, look at Zidane. Zidane hung up his boots at the age of 33. Said he can't do it anymore.
I know. I think he was forced to because he got red
Yeah,
carded for
he
that,
screwed
hitting
up.
his head against
Yeah,
Materazzi's chest.
he went out in a very unfortunate way.
Yeah. Anyway, we lost a legend this year, another legend this year, Maradona. Let's move on now to our first topic, straight into it. If you could join any company for a week, which would it be? Why? And what position in the company would you like? This is not about salary, but more about the experience of being part of that company.
Akash, karna start.
So I was going to say, work experience wise, this is Kevin's topic, right? Kevin,
Is it?
is this your topic?
Doesn't matter.
Anyway, no. I was going to say Google just to experience all the benefits they offer in their workplace. Because since salary is not a part of it, I don't care. But like, I've never seen a company give so much benefits to their workers as much as Google has, that swimming pool, courts, food, everything like that, massages, sleeping spaces, everything. That to me is just ridiculous that they want to. Basically, the reason why they've got it there is just to make you just live there. Basically, people say.
Yeah.
So you it's you
I mean,
stay
it's a
in that
really
work.
smart move. It's actually
It's a
very
smart move on their
move
part.
that they did.
But I would just like to experience that mainly, work experience wise for work, just to know how it operates. Yeah, I would like to be there. Other companies, I would like to be part of, like a gaming company like Naughty Dog, which is a very renowned gaming company for PlayStation.
Naughty Dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they make
I
Kevin
think
will know
Akash,
Uncharted.
I see you more at a than Google. I'll probably see you more at like a gaming company.
Yeah, that's
being
probably
like a
what
better fit
I
for
would
you.
like to be, being a part of like
Yeah,
the creative
I
team
mean,
and that.
question is not if you want to follow your passion, right? Question is
But
तुम
yeah,
कौन सी
that's
company
yeah,
में
that's what I'm
तो
saying.
it's
Yeah.
a,
And
like the thing is very
that's what I'm saying.
specifically
That's
said
another.
कि it's about कि तुम्हें वहाँ जाके, if there's something that really you're inquisitive about, it's not
Yeah,
particularly
so that's why I said like that's a separate one. But
Yeah.
Google would be probably the one thing to
so
experience.
Kalia, you didn't do any actual thinking on this, did you?
No, definitely not. What thinking?
But it's funny, like I would say 10 years back, even some for some people even right now, Google has always been that company जहाँ पे everyone wish to
Mhm.
work वहाँ पे, right? For
Yep.
whatever reason, सबके अपने अपने reasons हैं. But at
It's
least now it has gone down quite a lot. But at least 10 years back, it was quite prevalent.
No, it still is. There are just a lot more other alternatives now. But
Exactly, yeah.
it's a verb in our. It's entered. We saw it in 24 years become part of the dictionary. Like it's a verb now. Googling something is something. So it will always be relevant in such a blatant way. But yeah, nice Akash. Such an unbelievable choice. I can't believe.
Yeah. It's no one would have chosen this.
Arnav bhai.
So मेरा is interesting. मैं काफी सोचा इस topic पे. I could not come up with a good answer. But then I realized in past 7-8 months, what was happening in India, right? I was in a way very fascinated by Republic TV. I would love to work वहाँ पे for 1 week, just for two reasons, primarily two reasons. I know it's very first how
Kill
to
him
see the
now. I don't care. Kill him.
no, I was very much fascinated कि यार चाहे वो सच बोल रहे हैं, झूठ बोल रहे हैं, कुछ भी बोल रहे हैं, the conviction जिस उससे बोलता है वो अर्नब गोस्वामी वहां पे. इनफैक्ट ऑल द रिपोर्टर्स रिपब्लिक टीवी के, That's mind blowing. So I want to learn the whole process कि वो news के लिए, because it's like a script मुझे लगता है. Because majority of time they are bullshitting, so they have to come up with these stories. They have to come up with these, I call them fake interviews, fake debates, and all these things. But is someone who actually scripts all these things वहाँ पे बैठ के, do they actually have a writer वहाँ पे, or do they actually have a team who thinks about कि अरे हम कैसे अपने interviews conduct करने वाले हैं, क्या report करने वाले हैं? I'm sure होता होगा, but I'm very fascinated कि ये media houses कैसे operate करते हैं, especially in this day and age, जहाँ पे इंडिया में, जहाँ पे suddenly उनको इतना एक वॉइस मिल गई है बिकॉज ऑफ नेशनल करंट गवर्नमेंट इंडिया की. But that would be very fascinating for me. Role particularly, I want to be in front of Arnab Goswami when he's speaking, whichever role, whether it's a cameraman, चाहे पीछे वो आप क्यू कार्ड्स पकड़ के खड़े हो, कुछ भी हो, right? I don't care about that part, but I want to see how he basically bullshits, and then once the camera is cut, basically once he goes offline, is he still the same person? I assume not, but I will be very curious to see how he operates with his employees वहाँ पे
And
after
Arnav,
shouting at top of his.
how would that influence you? Since you brought it up, like if you find out that he is probably a different person,
Mhm.
what do you think you'd react? How would you react to that? Assume तू जाता है and you're like, oh my god, his persona just changes and he's like cuddling puppies or something. So what would you? How does it change for you? Just asking.
No, it shows me कि it doesn't change anything for me personally, but it shows me कि just for your work, what all limits you can cross. Like if उसके real life में, if he's a completely different person who is very normal and in front of TV just to get the TRP or just to get the audience or just to sell some rubbish, he's shouting on top of his voice, insulting others, creating fake stories. अगर so basically then he has no moral values. Just
Yeah,
because
so,
it sells, he's doing it. If it's true, right?
but do you
We are not
think
judging
you?
his moral values right now.
But do you think
Yeah,
it
we are
matters
assuming.
how he's on his private time? Because like you said, his moral values are questionable. So do you really care whether he's cuddling puppies on his private time or if he's
Yeah,
going and
No,
shooting at
no,
random
but
people?
Kevin,
He's
we
still
should leave
his
it up to the
moral values are
persons. Like,
pretty.
no, I'm saying, Kevin, we should leave it up to the each individual person may have. Like, I'm pretty sure you have a very specific reaction you would have to that. But since Arnav said that he would want to see it, I wanted to know कि तुम वो
no,
देख के
उसका
अलग
No, as in I'm not questioning why Arnav is saying, but I think I'm asking, does it matter, or are you trying to see how he is adapting to like both the lives? Is that what you're trying?
no, so it matters to me in a sense because lot of times personally for me, to show that conviction in your work, usually अपन जो काम कर रहे हैं so far it's not impacting, we are not changing this world, right? What he's doing वहाँ पे, he has a huge responsibility in India. वहाँ पे if he knows for a fact कि what he's doing is bullshit, that would be very interesting to me. How can he live his normal life off screen then when he knows कि वो prime time पे जाके वो बहुत ही बकवास करता है, अगर करता है तो again we are assuming कि यहाँ पे he is doing all these bullshit things. So
Yeah,
if
that's
he's
what I
actually
meant.
doing, yeah, so that would be very fascinating कि तुम्हें you know कि भाई reality क्या है, but you are still able to say
You'll
bullshit things
basically know
against the reality.
how his mind works in a way.
He's one of the
Yeah,
highest
I will be
paid
very fascinated.
journalists in India. Actually, he is the highest paid journalist in India currently. So I don't think the question of whether he is liking it or disliking it is going to be in the picture. Like when you previously, he was not even close to what he is earning today and what his net worth is today. So I
But
think it's
that's
just
for
a question
everyone, right?
about money and comfort versus. I mean,
No. That's the thing वहाँ पे. That's why I'm intrigued काफी कि some people don't, ये सिर्फ पैसे के लिए काम नहीं करते. Some people, right? I don't know if he's one of them or not. Because some people have earned enough money, like politicians, they have earned enough money, but they still go and do that कचड़ापंती
Yeah,
हर
Kevin,
साल.
what is that thing like? वो marginal returns after a point के time it's gonna keep diminishing, right? like there is only a certain peak it might reach. And I think Arnav's thing is like, even if you like agree with Arnav or disagree with him, that's why I wanted to know. Like, I understand that tujhe completely you disagree with what he's doing. I'm saying, if somebody just wants to objectively observe him, like, does he really believe in his what he's saying,
Or is he
or
doing this
is
for like
this,
TRPs or
or is
something
this
like
like
Yeah.
completely, you know,
Yeah.
then how would you react? Like, if that was my thing, like, manlo, after when the camera turns off, he's still like, oh my god, I can't believe aisa ho raha hai. Then
drugs
it's
though, mujhe drugs though. Like him
Yeah,
shouting.
because in order to come up with those stories, you need some creative person. So वहां पे वो
Definitely.
कैसे पूरी process work करती है? Like, does someone actually offer him a script? Do they have some bullet points? That part, I think it's common to all the media houses, but I want to learn that part also. Not learn, but I want to know how media houses operate anywhere in the
yeah,
world.
So there is a
I think that's a
every media house has a creative department that is responsible for TRP ratings. So they do get heavily. I mean, I have family who is in यहाँ पे 24 News बोल के क्या वहाँ पे they work. So there is a creative
Mm-hmm.
department and they are responsible for TRP. When the TRP rating falls, they are questioned why it is falling. And not
Oh,
only
I'm
that,
sure. I'm sure कि
what the anchor
TRP.
does, how the anchor responds, etc. Anchor is only doing what is based, what he's asked, what he or she's asked on the basis of, like, from the creative department. They don't have
That's
anything
the
of their own.
difference यहाँ पे. That's the difference. That's why I chose Republic TV. Arnab Goswami is not just an anchor.
Doesn't he
He
own
Yes.
runs.
that?
He
Yeah,
runs
yeah,
the
yeah,
he
yeah.
owns
Republic
it.
TV वहाँ पे.
He owns it. The
Yeah.
Republic TV.
I don't
At
know
least he has
कि उसका
control. He's editor in chief and controlling stake है उसका, if I'm
Yeah,
not wrong.
yeah,
he's. I feel like controlling stake definitely.
Otherwise,
I
time
don't know
slot
if he
छोड़ने का कोई point ही नहीं था.
Yeah, then
point
he
in
was
it,
should
right?
have. Yeah.
Because
This is not for
Kevin rightly
money
said
alone.
कि
Is this for
majority of the
power as
anchors
well?
they are just
Yes, sorry.
Hmm?
हाँ majority of the anchors जो केविन ने बोला कि या उनको पता है उनको बताया जाता है क्या करना है कैसे कंडक्ट करना है but यहाँ पे he is running the whole show. He literally decides what's going to happen, right? So he has so much of power. That's why I was very intrigued कि उसकी not necessarily personal life but like in general how वो अपने employees को कैसे treat करता है. Does he actually believe in those stories which he's reporting? That's the main thing which I want to know. And second thing would be obviously how media houses operate. So that was the reason I chose Republic TV, and I would just be a part of some department वहाँ पे.
For my answer, I never even thought about that kind of thing. For mine, that's actually very interesting.
Actually, like the thing I don't like about Arnab Goswami is yes, he all the shit he does, but I think his other, if you read about his personal life also, it's very questionable. For his, like the things that his son has been involved with, the amount of police cases that have been settled off court on his son are incredibly controversial. So like he is not exactly okay.
No,
You
he
like
had
you
his-
said, like the face of the organization, whatever he does on TV is all right, but I do question his moral ground because his only son or whatever is not exactly doing any good to the community in any way. For example, another situation I'll give you is this is the same guy who's 19 years old and went and questioned the police officer, like shoved the police officer, telling him that he doesn't know what his net worth is. So just so for a moral ground, like as in I know what Arnab Goswami on TV is, but I don't think his family interaction or this is whatever his for professional life is definitely influences personal life. That I can guarantee. Like that, at least it seems like it. Like you can read about his
I
son's
was about to say
controversy.
guarantee. I was like, you can't guarantee that.
But
yeah, no, I understand
Kevin
what-
genuinely hates Arnab Goswami.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
He
no,
went
but,
to
but
No, but
Kevin,
one thing we can all agree on.
my
I
point
don't
was,
like pride.
that no, my
Like-
point was कि in the object, in the attempt to be objective, we can also put in the thing was कि Arnav just goes and observes it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I get that you have strong conviction on it, but either
The
way.
way he said, I can guarantee, and then he quickly changed it to like,
Yeah, no,
I'm
that
sure.
is wrong. I shouldn't guarantee, but
No,
at
no.
least it seems like it.
yeah, yeah. That I can understand.
Definitely.
Anyway, let's move on from Arnab Goswami.
Hey, Arnab, don't bring such things next time. Okay?
नहीं, and my point was not even to decide कि वो morally सही है या गलत है. That was not even the discussion, but
Oh,
it went in that
it's my
direction.
fault. I actually found your
Akash,
topic interesting, so I
it's
wanted to
always
discuss it.
Arnav. If you put a hashtag as in Arnav Goswami, I'm stopping your podcast here.
I'm not even in charge of the tags and all of this.
अबे
No, but
इसको टैग डालने नहीं आते.
Yeah, such में. Anyway, Kevin, since who are you? You want to work for Arnab Goswami?
I don't know if this is like stupid. Like, okay, have you guys run into a problem where you have like your running shoes like that you use that look disgusting, and you have your like basketball shoes and football shoes that are relatively less comfortable for daily use that look amazing. So one thing I wanted to work like by that logic, I was like, one company I would like to work is ASICS. How can a company make such amazing shoes when you wear them, you're walking in heaven. But when you look down, you seriously feel like someone has puked on you. Like that is honestly my feeling when you look at some of the ASICS and some of the Reebok shoes. Like I actually want to work with their design team. Like if I could, I'd really like to be in the design team of ASICS and try to improve that. Essentially, because either they are doing it on purpose so that people buy shoes for separate purposes. Like, okay, these are casual. But like, I'm someone who likes to wear one shoe or two shoes everywhere. It doesn't matter to me. Like, so I'd really like to improve the design. My aspect. I think Arnav can relate to it the most. We had gone shoe shopping for him.
So interesting point, bola. I do agree that majority of the running shoes, they are not good in terms of design. So it's interesting that you want to go and see if it's a possibility that we can improve the design system वहाँ पे. So that's an interesting take on that. मैं कभी like
because का logo is shit as well, man. I swear, I still feel like it's an O in there. OA6 sometimes I feel like what the hell is it?
Yeah, running shoes का थोड़ा सा है, like they're very ASICS में भी अच्छे shoes आते हैं, so I've used them, couple of them, so they are really good, some of them. But yeah, majority of the running shoes, whether it's ASICS, Brooks, Nike or कुछ भी, they are not good in terms of design. But I will be very curious to know, as Kevin said, is it because of some limitation, like they have to add some extra cushioning वहाँ पे, या shoe का design because of some restriction है, या is it just they are not able to crack that thing?
I feel it's market split, I think. I was actually going to ask you guys, do you think it is done on purpose? Because it's like a mutual understanding that this wing of shoe is going to make running. So the people who want to wear like shoes with their jeans or something like that, wear it out, they would go and buy
multi-use
for that. Yeah. I don't think
no,
they
but
want
then
to make multi-use.
It won't make sense for ASICS and Brooks because they are known only for running. They are not known for casual shoes. So no one will buy their casual shoes.
One question: ASICS is it a subsidiary of any of these like Nike or Adidas? Like Reebok is a subsidiary of Adidas, if I'm right.
ASICS is separate.
ASICS is separate. Okay. Then I was going to throw my thing.
I didn't know Reebok
maybe it's like one of these. But yeah,
ASICS बहुत पुरानी company apparently.
Yeah.
They got to do something about that logo, man. I always thought it was OA6 before.
I really like. I don't know how it works, but I really
when I was a kid.
Shoes. उनके जूते काफी अच्छे हैं.
Like
no, they're good shoes. Kevin's right, but their design is pretty shit. But good shoes otherwise.
They have this yellow and light blue combination. So the Brooks as well. Like yellow and light blue combination. I'm like, what the hell are you thinking? Like make it like multi-purpose so that like you can wear it anywhere you want and you'd be happy to.
That and New Balance, I feel always look weird to me sometimes.
Yeah. No, I mean they cannot make it multi-purpose, right? They have a niche market which they're serving to. They sell their shoes as running shoes. So I don't think they should go into that multi-use wala shoes. But I do agree if they can improve on their design, it might help them.
Yeah, I apologize. When I said multi-use, I meant like as in the design should be such that you can use it for multi-use. Because honestly, in all purposes aside, I would wear a running shoes any day, anywhere else. Like, I mean, whether you're running or you're walking or you're just standing on your feet in the office, either way, you're in the most comfortable state you want to be.
I think in non-formal settings, I like I mean, or like if I'm just roaming around, I like chappal more than anything
For our English viewers, the chappal is the slipper.
else.
Or for the Aussie
ओ
listeners, it's
आकाश तू अभी अचानक ट्रांसलेट कर रहा है हम जो हिंदी में बात
Suddenly,
करते हैं
I
तब क्या
realized-
करता है
Yeah, no, then I just give up. I'm like, chal. For these type of words,
Wait,
I can translate.
I said for the Aussie listeners, it's called thong.
Yeah,
What?
देखो. We have no Aussie listeners,
is-
okay? No one in Australia
It's called
listens to this.
thong,
That I know.
as in THONGS. Yeah.
No, I didn't even know that.
Arnav, did you hear what I heard?
या
Yeah.
Okay.
केविन यू डू नो राइट उसका मीनिंग क्या है यहाँ पे अंग्रेजी में
I
नॉर्मल
mean, obviously I know. That's why I said it is actually called thong. That's it.
तो
Then
वहाँ पे
the-
थॉन्ग्स को क्या बुलाते हैं फिर
That is also thong.
Abbe, some Australian fooled him.
अबे नहीं बे. Google it. Google it. Why even?
oh, if I Google it, the result you think is not what's going to come on my
Okay,
screen.
the reason is if you look at the design of a flip flop, as in like a slipper or chappal, whatever you call it, it's
Hey,
essentially
guy-
the same design.
Guys,
A6
next
is
topic.
owned by Onitska Tiger, which
Kevin
is
is going to
or no,
Kevin is going to
A6
start
is-
describing thongs.
Akash is giving some important information.
A6 is owned by Onitsuka Tiger, which is that Nike.
That's a
guy.
Japanese company.
Yeah, Nike. Remember when that Nike he sold their shoes Phil Knight? They're
Yeah.
owned by them.
But
I
it's
was
not
wondering
Nike.
that's the design. It's not owned by
Amazing
Nike.
quality, huh?
Yeah, it's not owned by Nike.
Onitsuka Tiger is a different company which is bought.
Yeah, Onitsuka is a Japanese one, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's a
Yeah,
Japanese.
it's a Japanese company. Yeah.
Phil Knight used to sell their shoes before he made Nike.
I heard
Yeah.
Anushka Tiger. I'm like, ये कब हुआ?
But the Anushka Tiger has some good shoes as well. Better
yeah,
design.
okay.
Akash, the faster you say it, it gets worse. It sounds.
Anushka
Yeah.
Tiger has very good shoes.
Okay. Anyways, Kevin wants to be part of design team वहाँ पे. Great.
Yeah, done.
Good,
Amrit.
good choice.
Which I was going to say next topic, but
Amrit doesn't have one either. Amrit going to give some
Nahi,
morbid.
nahi,
I want to work at
Funeral
Mine-
home.
mortuary.
I-
Amrit is going to say.
he said funeral home. That's funny. That's funny. I want to be part of the audit team for a week at Cayman National Bank just to see कि किस के offshore account में कहाँ से पैसे आते हैं. I want to be part of the audit team. That's my role. Very specifically, I want to be the head auditor throughout, and I want to see statements of कि किसने कैसे offshore accounts बनाए हैं and कितने shell companies के through वो actually end कहाँ पहुँचते हैं, because auditors are the only ones who will have access to both books and no auditor
Yeah.
is actually going to reach there. But since this is a fantasy question, मुझे Cayman Islands में उनके main bank, the Cayman National Bank में ही head auditor बनना है और देखना
अबे
है कि
आकाश
what are
आकाश का
interesting
निकलेगा
news
वहाँ पे अकाउंट.
मैं बोलना आकाश का
I will be-
I had a
I-
feeling.
I
I
know,
was counting.
and then-
I was counting
no.
in my head. When will they bring me into this? When will they bring me?
No. And the saddest thing will be that I'll come back to this conversation कि ये mic के लिए होता है. ऑफशोर अकाउंट बना के रखा है और ये इसको ब्लैक फ्राइडे का डिस्काउंट चाहिए बेशरम.
बट अपने ऑडियंस सच में सोचते होंगे ना कि यार इनका एक होस्ट कितना रिच है. Like they would be actually thinking on those
They'll be-
lines.
They'll be so disappointed when they find this.
Akash, you shouldn't say that. अभी कुछ नहीं यार, I was going to say something.
देखो,
But Akash, थोड़ा और टाइम के लिए आकाश let the illusion run ना, तेरे फायदे में
हाँ.
ही है. Is what I
या
meant.
शादी के बाद.
I didn't
हाँ,
say it.
शादी
You said it.
So- Anyway, very interesting topic.
Guys,
Very-
Akash owns Abu Dhabi is our conclusion, and Kevin should not be asked about Republic TV. Is what we realized in this episode.
मतलब Kevin genuinely started.
Abbe, I was like so angry at you, Arnav. Like I was like, क्यों?
I was going to divert that. Stopped saying it. I was going to say, but we can appreciate that Arnab Goswami is still a good speaker no matter what you say about me. And then I was like, I'll ditch that point because Kevin will
Kevin
just
will be
insult me.
Kevin will be like, देश के साथ ऐसा करने के बाद you call him a good
Akash-
speaker. I hate him. Akash, I'll
Akash,
kill
I'm
you.
going to cut the call and I'm going to tell you, do your podcast on his own.
He's going to tell me, get Arnab Goswami to speak on your
No,
podcast. not
and
me.
like since we know Kevin for a decade ना, since we know Kevin for a decade, we also know एक बार Kevin को गुस्सा आ गया ना,
Oh.
so he won't come
Yeah,
down.
For me, it's ethical values. That's all. That's why I question it.
No, you're right. Ethically,
Kevin,
definitely you're
discussion
right,
is
but-
over. It's okay. Kevin, discussion is
Anyway,
over. You
moving
win.
swiftly on to our next topic. It's a good one. Since we talked about sports earlier. If you could be an athlete, what sports would you most like to be a part of? Or basically, your top 5 sports you like to be a part of. Give me a list of your top 5 sports.
What lame topics have you chosen this year?
It's not. Amrit, you chose this topic.
This is what happens when other members don't show up for the meeting.
This is what happens when Amrit was half asleep and he's like, let's just do this topic because he was busy all day. Anyway,
Yeah, I
so
couldn't make it.
top 5. Let's start. Arnav, basketball is not on your list, no?
So top 5, I thought we have to pick one.
Pick
Okay,
one,
whichever.
yeah,
We can pick one. It'll be easier.
Or
Actually, pick one.
three, man.
Top
There's
five have been there for ages.
Indian cricket team also. ले लेना. Yeah.
2. Top 2. Basketball and Indian cricket team. Chalo,
Yes.
ho gaya.
I mean,
Don't
if,
say
okay,
it fast.
if I have
He's
to pick
getting
one,
angry.
then yeah, cricket would be the one which I would love to play as a professional sport. So that would be cricket. If I have to add more to that list, basketball, soccer, archery, and
Archery. Oh, nice.
yeah. मुझे हमेशा खेलने का मन है. I never got the chance. I tried to. यहाँ पे we have some centers. यहाँ पे I always want to try archery. But anyway, so that would be the fourth one. Fifth one would be, I think, tennis or golf. I'm not able to decide which one would be.
I would not feel safe if you had a bow and arrow in your hand.
Arnav, I can trust. It's the other two. These two.
Akash,
I will never
Akash,
trust with the bow.
I will come fall chase you with the
Especially
arrow.
Amrit.
Bow
Kevin,
बहुत दूर की
I'll
बात है.
trust. Amrit, I will never trust. I'll make sure I'm like completely different area from Amrit.
I will not pick it up unless I know that you are somewhere in the vicinity. मैं पहले से बोल रहा हूँ.
I've done archery. Archery is actually pretty cool because I went to a center where we did it.
Wow.
And
ये सही में you don't know how posh you come across, don't you?
I do. I was saying, I also did fencing. You know? Fencing
Did you
also.
go? Akash, did you go
Have
there
you-
in a Lamborghini or something like that as well?
Yeah, no. The driver picked me up in his Lamborghini. We bought for him. He picked me up and took me.
You know, Akash, मेरी आर्चरी क्या की है मैंने? 14 जनवरी को इंडिया में नॉर्थ में स्पेसिफिकली संक्रांत नाम से फेस्टिवल होता है. सो
मकर
काइट्स का जो वो जिसके जो बॉर्डर्स होते हैं वुड के, राइट, वी यूज्ड टू मेक मांजा, वो बना के वी यूज्ड टू मेक बो एंड एरो एंड वी यूज्ड टू प्ले विद दैट. दैट्स अ मैक्सिमम आर्चरी which we have.
Yeah, I have only seen archery on
I've
I've
TV.
done it once. And it was because it was part of some event, and it wasn't very
नहीं
professional.
हमारे यहाँ रामलीला के टाइम तुम्हें वो छोटे वाले मिलते थे मेकशिफ्ट वो तो
रामलीला
Yeah, yeah.
जिस-
Akash, in front of your story, these guys look like nange.
These guys are saying,
but
No,
भाई
but
मेले
yeah,
पे
that
रामलीला के मेले में
string
you
ना,
get the
hurts.
क्या कहते हैं वो एक डंडे को मोड़ के और एक तार लगा के
हमने
and the thing is you would have to pay
धनुष,
extra for
धनुष.
the arrow. Then you have to pay extra for the धनुष, so then you're like ऐसे उसके साथ हार्प की तरह खेल के you went home and threw it away.
But on the professional bow, that string is so tight and it hurts when you let go if you don't, because it hits your forearm. That's why you have to wear some protective thing on your forearm. It hits and leaves like a mark because it's so like whips your arm.
Did you get spanked by a machine and come back and say are telling us this story? What's wrong with you?
But the annoying thing was, like the guy kept screaming, telling me, "No, you have to close one eye and shoot." I'm like, I cannot close my eye for some reason. He's like, no, close your eye. I'm like, oh, shut up, man. Just let go.
Wait, ये कहाँ पे था? अबू धाबी में या
Abu Dhabi में.
Okay, since we're
some
talking
event.
about archery,
वहाँ पे किसी को
Since
shut
we're
up मत
talking
बोलियो,
about-
कांड हो जाएगा.
it should be part of the recommendation, but anyways, I will say it right now. There's a great documentary on Deepika Kumari. Deepika Kumari नाम है ना उनका?
Yeah, दीपिका कुमारी.
Ladies First
I
on
don't know.
Netflix. It came out a year or 2 years back. It's brilliant. It's उसकी पूरी journey के बारे में है. So time मिले तो देख लेना.
Nice.
यार उन सब बेचारों के लिए ओलंपिक ईयर भी आने
Netflix
वाला
पे
था.
है क्या?
Yeah, it's on
Sure.
Netflix. Ladies First नाम से. Yeah.
Save this for your recommendations, no?
Yeah, I wanted to, but because we were talking so much about archery और अपने
अबे
experiences, I thought
topical and is better than someone's political opinions. So anyways, move on to the next
Okay.
sport.
What was the other one? After archery, you said golf. Oh, golf. Amrit will never watch you play golf. We already discussed that. Amrit hates golf.
golf या
So-
tennis. I would
No,
okay.
no, no,
Let
no,
me
no,
say
no, no.
tennis. Yeah, golf.
I don't
Tennis.
hate golf. I just find it very slow. That's
Oh,
it.
okay.
I don't-
Okay.
And
Kevin.
it seemed like a proper, like, you have to be some billionaire to get into that place kind of thing. I always
True.
thought.
Brilliant.
Kevin. I just obviously football. I would have said like Barcelona, but like that's too obvious to me. But like I think
Why?
if in football I only have one requirement. I think if I was a footballer, I'd like to be a part of a team that is either coached by Diego Simeone, Klopp, or Mourinho. Just the passion that they bring in.
Oh,
like
Diego Simeone. Oh,
Hey, you didn't
Simeone.
choose Guardiola?
Okay, why
No.
would he choose that bald ass?
No, he's a good coach, I'm sure, but like even Sir Alex Ferguson. But like if you look at these guys, right, Simeone, Klopp, and Mourinho, like you can see the amount of passion and like the anger and everything that they.
I think
Bring
you
it.
would
I'll be
most
able to
you would
relate.
most I think Terle Klopp would be perfect. I think
Yeah.
a passion.
I
Yeah,
feel
Kevin-
Kevin Miles would be perfect.
He's
for
like
you.
a testosterone driven. He's like a testosterone driven male like you only. So I think तुम दोनों का connection मस्त होगा.
I would
Kevin,
say
what is your other sport?
I was going to say Indian cricket team 2006ish, probably in a role
Oh, we
similar to Saurav Ganguly.
Oh, you couldn't choose the year. I didn't even know this.
Yeah, ये नहीं
I
पता
was
था
choosing
मुझे.
more specific.
No, but
I was
that's
choosing more
that's
specific,
innovative.
like what I
Yeah,
wanted
that's
to do.
innovative.
Like
Why
as in a Saurav,
2006?
like
No,
as
no,
in
if you're
that
saying
time we really
2006
lacked a
and
figure. I think once
what
Uh-huh.
position though? What position though? Like
I said
Water boy.
more similar to Saurav Ganguly, water boy Sale.
No, Saurav Ganguly, what position, Kevin? Seriously, now I feel
What do you
bad.
mean,
Sorry.
sir?
अबे Indian
Like
captain position क्या?
You'd be
More
Indian
like-
captain.
I mean,
Yeah.
whatever exact role that he played, right? Like as a captain,
Uh-huh.
helping with the scout, like I mean, he'll come in whatever order that is required. Like that's what I like about a player like Ganguly. Like he'll do whatever it takes for the team. Like if you ask him to open, he'll come and open. If you ask him to be a hard hitter, he'll do that. Like, he'll do
majority
whatever
of the
it
time,
takes
I
for the
think
team.
I think he's the one who decided that because he was captain. I would say Dravid did more of the stuff, but it's okay, Kevin. I agree with your opinion. It's
I was
fine.
about to say Ganguly was the one who used to run away from these things.
But ओए मत बोल वो गुस्से में है. केविन तेरी बात सही है. ये अर्नब
Right.
एक रिपब्लिक टीवी है. उसकी बात मत सुन.
But
Yeah,
I think
Arnab
as a
wants to work
leadership,
under Arnab.
I think as a leadership, Ganguly, Dravid was not a good leader in any
Oh,
way.
true. Yeah.
No, true. You're
not
right.
as, no. I'm not talking about leader,
good
but I
captain.
meant the play.
Yeah. No, I'm
Dravid
talking about
did-
a leader slash like
Yeah.
like I mean Dravid had his own
When
way
I-
of doing things.
When I asked you role, I meant like, would you like to be a bowler or a batsman kind of thing?
Oh, like that. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, I'm
And
asking.
so
I've never heard you. Like, would you, if you were given a fantasy choice, would you like to be a bowler or a batsman?
Hmm.
2006 की Indian team में batsman. Okay.
Batsman. Arnab, which one is
Actually,
for
it would
you?
help if I think in 2006, I think it would help more if I was a bowler. To be honest.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Like, it would be good to have a
Or a
leader who was a
all-rounder.
bowler.
Kevin,
If
it would
I-
have helped even in 2020. The
हाँ,
way India is
अबे
playing right
300
now.
390 का टारगेट दे रहे हैं हम. बस
Oh my God.
अच्छा वो बॉलर वो हो गए, क्या कहते हैं, हम उनके बैट्समैन भी थक गए. मैक्सवेल को सारा आईपीएल की भड़ास इसमें उतार रहे हैं.
My
क्या
dad-
डबल एजेंट है.
सहवाग called him 10 करोड़ का cheer leader. Let's see अब सहवाग क्या बुलाता है मैक्सवेल को.
And for me,
ये सब है ना.
third sport I chose was basketball, and I'd like to be with Shaq, and in a role like Draymond Green. Very
High energy
like
kind of
committed, being heart of a team, defensively.
Defense.
Good,
Defensively,
actually.
very
You-
good presence.
Kevin,
Very.
Shaq की team में या Shaq के against?
Shaq's
Shaq
team.
के team में. I think it will be
Shaq-
more fun to be with Shaq.
Yeah,
No, not
I do.
against Shaq.
Kevin, because Shaq would be
Who
funny.
did?
Yeah, Shaq will keep me entertained.
Shaq
And
had
he's a good
Robert Ory
player.
at the 4, and who else did he have at the 4 when he actually played? He had that other guy, that
Eddie Jones.
guy-
No, Eddie Jones was a shooting
no.
guard.
He was no. I'm saying
Lakers, huh?
Robert Ory was the 4, and this other guy,
Yeah.
yaar, Kalia. Abhe,
Power forward, you're saying?
yeah, the power forward of that team was someone else,
power
but yeah,
forward?
Kevin would fill that role. Kevin would be like the big shot Bob bhi hoga, Kevin. Weirdly, that fits. So
But Kevin-
right place, right time.
Good twist on this topic, huh? Like which
Very
team you
good,
want
very
to
good
play for
twist.
in which year? That's a good twist.
That's actually.
Kevin, more than Akash, who said like मैं Google में काम करूंगा अगर मुझे एक हफ्ते का चांस मिले.
Yeah, you guys. I didn't bring Arnab into mine. I should have brought it out to that.
अब अगले 3 हफ्ते के लिए किसी ने नाम भी लिया ना रिपब्लिक बोल के.
Oh, Rick Fox. Wasn't he the power forward?
Yeah, you are thinking correct, perfect. कौन बचा है?
You and then me.
अच्छा नहीं तो आकाश तू बोलना पहले, मैं हर बार पहले बोल दूं, तू बोल.
See, I can only see myself as a Michael Jordan role in the. You know, what did he keep saying in the documentary?
अगर ये रिकॉर्डिंग
and I took
इंटरनेट
that,
पे नहीं
you
जा
know,
रही, अगर ये रिकॉर्डिंग इंटरनेट पे नहीं जा रही होती ना, मैं तुझे ऐसी
He
बातें
did-
बोलता ना कि तू कहाँ का माइकल जॉर्डन है.
documentary, you know, he didn't say hi to me, and I just took that personally and decided to score 60 points on his.
Yeah, but you're used to being ignored and not being said hi to.
And you know, Akash is exactly उसके opposite personality.
Exactly.
Exactly opposite.
Exactly opposite.
Yeah, Akash would chase and say,
No, but
"Arey, hi,
it would be
hello, hi."
basketball. But whose team? I'm trying to think like Kevin chose. Which
Yeah,
year?
choose like Kevin's template. Take Kevin's, because that's how my entire answer changed, by the way. That's why. I
That's
made
not
this
fair.
escape
मेरे
list.
answer के बाद तूने topic ही change कर दिया.
Yeah,
But I didn't know.
Kevin
I
made
didn't-
it more interesting.
Interesting.
I think
was very
Kevin
interesting.
took it personally कि तूने Republic TV बोला ना. Wait.
You should
I
blame
would
your
No,
host.
Kev-
You should blame the
Kevin is
host.
doing
He
it.
told-
Kevin is doing his best to not break the screen. But okay, Kale jaldi kar.
Probably with LeBron in the Cleveland Cavalier team, the after Miami Heat,
After all that thinking, that's where how far you reached.
because I feel LeBron is probably a much better teammate than other
No,
history.
but what position and
And
like what would be your role?
Shooting guard, I'd say. I mean, because
You-
I just
you-
always
you-
prefer the shooting guard.
You'll replace
Position.
J.R. Smith and
Yeah,
Imam
J.R. Smith.
Shumpert.
Because I'll instead of him getting drunk, I'll get drunk on Hennessy and drink and then pass the ball.
Wait.
to-
अगर तुम
Dribble.
fantasy choose कर रहे हो, you should be thinking about कि playing against Shaq, playing against Jordan, playing against LeBron
But
James.
Ajay,
नहीं,
उनको उनकी
au-
fantasy है.
No,
Why are you getting
Aukat
into their
comes in the play, na?
अबे,
Aukat,
अबे,
you have to remember. Playing
No, no.
against
अबे
घंटा
आकाश
dude.
औकात तो साथ में खेलने की भी नहीं है अपने भाई.
No, Arnav. Like mine is personally one where I'm going up against someone based on that. But it's
No,
also
but I would
in
like
his fantasy. In his
Nee,
fantasy,
because-
he wants to be part
yeah,
of something.
Because I'd want to see like how he leads the team. Because everyone says LeBron is like also a great teammate.
Yeah,
and
see,
agree.
that
That's
also
what I
makes
would
sense.
like
If
to learn.
there is something you want to
See.
see,
Yeah, I would like
Personally.
to see that because you've always heard how bad teammate Jordan wasn't a very good teammate because he just blatantly insult, call out, even Kobe to an extent. Not as much as Jordan, but Kobe to an extent was like that. So I'd like to, because everyone just says good things about LeBron as a teammate. Everyone is, so I'd be interested in hearing more about that.
True.
So basketball
Or-
would be my top.
or
Cricket,
koi,
obviously,
you
cricket
can
for
say in
England,
any
team,
sport.
England for England to play with.
Acha, Akash, which
Cricket
English
team.
team under Michael Vaughan? Yeah, Nasir Hussain before that.
Yeah, I would-
Yeah, Alistair
was
Cook की
one-
team.
No, Uwais
बे,
Shah when
उसको
he,
इतने कैप्टन्स पता ही नहीं होंगे आकाश को.
Uwais
तू
Shah
क्या
when
नाम
he-
ले रहा है सारे?
I remember clearly Uwais Shah when he used to play. Yuvraj Singh was
Oh,
bowling to him.
he looks like you also, no?
Yuvraj Singh was bowling to him. Just before Yuvraj Singh was about to bowl, he winked at Yuvraj Singh, and Yuvraj Singh like just stopped the
Akash,
bowling midway.
the fact that
It's
that
like-
is what you noticed, that
No, I remember because then Yuvraj Singh bowled him out in the next bowl, and then he winked back at him. I was like, oh my god.
That's match fixing. That
I was
seems
like,
like
this is
match
very,
fixing.
this is very fishy. You know,
No,
It's
I remember that
seductive.
moment.
it is so
But
weird that that's what you remember.
Since
But
you
I don't know. It
since you
just stuck
picked
in my head. That thing.
since you picked England, I want to add I would love to be part of the finals, the World Cup
Oh yeah,
finals,
that
England
New
New
Zealand.
Zealand.
That
It
was
would
going to be
be
my actual thing. Ben Stokes ka. I would like to
yeah.
see like the
wait,
mindset in his.
you just stole his answer. Don't say I would like to be
That I
part
would
of the
like to see what
mindset.
because Ben Stokes is now playing
Akash,
so
you,
well
do you think you
for
deal
England.
with that pressure? Oh, keep
Yeah,
quiet.
yeah.
You'd like run away from it. Chube.
No, I would be like up to the pressure. I'd be massaging Ben Stokes and be like, "Go, bro! You've got this. You've got this. That's all. Nothing else."
तो तू साले वाटर
Bro.
बॉय है क्या पहले?
Water boy. See,
Oh,
Kevin, I know.
Kevin got
Kevin
angry about
wanted to
that one
Kevin
also.
wanted to be get back
No,
at me for that. I
I
love
thought,
that.
I thought, I thought, I thought
No,
he was
but
going to say that he'll be the bowler or something. He's like, I'm going to massage. I'm like,
no. I'm saying औकात याद है मुझे. So that's why. But
as if,
no,
साले,
I would,
हम,
I was going to
हम,
specifically pick that time because there's that the tension in that match was crazy and that
Same. Yeah.
ridiculous.
Akash,
So I would
if it
like to
comes
be in
down
that
to,
time.
if it comes down to औकात, हम में से चारों में से कोई water
Oh
boy
no,
भी
no,
नहीं
कोई,
बनेंगे.
no. Knowing us
Yeah,
will
that's
trip
why I'm
up
saying.
as a water boy.
Like
But
like
yeah,
Arnav said, you can fly in your fantasies and in your
but otherwise in
fantasies.
India, obviously Dhoni hitting the six. I'd like to be part of that and seeing that journey throughout World Cup winning.
That's one thing which I always wished कि I wished I was in India that time. अपन सब
Yeah,
साथ में थे
that
Purdue में.
such में,
I
yeah.
wish I was in India that time.
That is also
Can
what
you
I always think.
because the
Atmosphere
2007
would be crazy.
celebrating T20 जब हम जीते थे was like a next level
Hmm.
feeling यार.
Yeah.
जब हम
ये तो
देश
11 का
प्रेम
World
करते थे.
Cup
I can
मुंबई में
imagine.
it was yeah.
Yeah, but वो भी वर्ल्ड कप था यार.
But yeah, anyway, Amrit.
यार मेरे लिए बहुत स्पेसिफिक है. पहले आई वाज गोइंग टू जस्ट से कि क्योंकि मेरा ओरिजिनल पिछले वाले क्वेश्चन का ओरिजिनल आंसर मैंने फर्स्ट लुक्ड एट इट वाज लाइक आई वुड हैव लव टू बी पार्ट ऑफ द यूथ सेटअप एट यूनाइटेड एंड लाइक टू गो अप थ्रू देयर. But based on Kevin's thing, like my answer changed into like 2005 में रॉय कीन वो हुआ था रिटायर लेफ्ट यूनाइटेड सेल्टिक वगैरह लड़ाई वगैरह के जैसे. आई वुड हैव लाइक टू रिप्लेस हिम जब वो सेंट्रल मिडफील्ड में गया था, प्ले द एनफोर्सर लॉन्ग पास captaincy role in that team and take on. I would have loved to take on that AC Milan वाली जो टीम थी. I know 4 साल बाद मेसी 2 साल बाद मेसी वाली टीम आने वाली है, but before that I would have loved to have a Champions League game between United and that AC Milan काका वाली टीम, क्योंकि जिसमें रियल लाइफ में यूनाइटेड हारी थी. And I would love to replay that game. Like
I was going to
that's
say a
just one of
bigger
my
challenge
Was
all.
would be the
Ancelotti the
Ronaldo.
coach at that time for AC Milan?
Yeah, I think him. They had Gattuso, Kaka. They had Maldini वगैरह का आखिरी
Or
साल चल रहे
Seedorf.
थे, and see Clarence Seedorf in the middle. Like
Clarence
I would
Seedorf,
have.
yeah.
I love, for me, a role in football I could never play क्योंकि मुझे शुरुआत से हमेशा गोलकीपर बना के चढ़ा दिया था लोगों ने. Was the fact कि
And you weren't even that good
I
as well.
yeah, but I loved playing midfield. Like the creativity of setting somebody else up, setting up the game, controlling the rhythm of the game
I can't imagine you as a Roy Keane.
or
Though. You
something.
don't have that. I'd never seen you in that thing that you'd be like, "Uda dunga sale," like kind of like Roy Keane
No,
intimidation.
but that's the thing. That is the player because like many people ka Manchester United love starts with like the more flashy, I suppose, goal
Yeah.
scoring players. For me, it was him at Highbury. Just जब Scholes को किसी ने tackle किया था and he just charged into like 3 6'5" players. Like I like leaders who stand up. That's the reason why my favorite Barcelona player was never. I mean, I respect Messi. My favorite player was always Puyol because I thought leader वैसे होते हैं. That's a leader. In my opinion, I know people
Oh,
like
yeah.
Messi and everyone far more, but my favorite was someone like Puyol because I like captain like that. So मेरा 2005 में वो होगा. But a sport in which I'd like to do is I want to represent my country in any sort of national thing. Like honestly, anything जिसमें we can I can represent. Now it has to be one. My only precondition would be it has to be a sport where हमारा थोड़ा local culture भी उसमें है. So like something like कबड्डी जिसमें हम बहुत जीते हैं. अगर वो आगे वो होती है वो sport. Like hockey में if I can be a center forward, a sport which very specifically हम बहुत अच्छे थे एक टाइम पे, but then हम काफी slip away हो गए. I would love to be part of that. Like I don't know कौन सा era हॉकी में अच्छा था अभी recently. And I'm not talking 20s to 50s तक का era नहीं, जब हम गोल्ड पे गोल्ड जीत रहे थे. I mean post 2000 eras में any time, because I knew 3-4 हॉकी players के नाम only. धनराज पिल्ले, विवेक रस्कुइना. याद है हॉकी की लीग शुरू हुई थी, वहां पे
I don't
4-5
even know
नाम लिखे
these
थे
names,
मैंने.
man.
दिलीप तिर्की वगैरह जो थे.
I never followed hockey.
And I
धनराज
want to
पिल्ले तो
like
पता होगा
संदीप
ना?
सिंह. धनराज पिल्ले
I've
नहीं पता भाई
heard,
तूने.
but I don't know like anything else. I've heard names, but I don't know
भाई,
anything
संदीप
else.
सिंह तो recent था क्या
धनराज
Sandeep
still,
पिल्ले
right?
Singh.
recent है.
Sandeep Singh, I know.
Yeah.
I've heard Sandeep Singh.
धनराज
But
पिल्ले, दिलीप तिर्की, विवेक रस्किना वगैरह, they were all players of the early 2000s. हम जब बड़े हो रहे थे like उस टाइम में, and it was a very unknown thing. IPL के टाइम इन्होंने प्रीमियर हॉकी लीग शुरू करी थी, and I used to love जस्ट उनकी टीवी पे आता ना यार, उस वक्त नया था कि स्टार स्पोर्ट्स वगैरह पे. तो आई वुड लव टू बी पार्ट ऑफ दैट मूवमेंट इन हॉकी, बिकॉज इट्स अ स्पोर्ट जो हमारा नेशनल स्पोर्ट है नाम के लिए एटलीस्ट, एंड वी वर वंस वेरी गुड. तो वो रिक्लेमिंग दैट लॉस्ट प्राइड, बिकॉज आई डोंट थिंक एनी अदर स्पोर्ट के साथ मेरा इतना वो है. आई वुड लव टू बी अ सेंटर फॉरवर्ड फॉर इंडिया इन दैट स्पोर्ट.
in reality, all of us should be water boys, though. Not even that, actually. Kevin is right. Kevin's right as well.
In reality, we would be stands में या टीवी घर पे बैठ के टीवी
Yeah, such way we won't even be that. It's sad. It's sad. Okay, so that's it for the topics. Now let's just go into recommendations.
Kevin is going to say his
Kevin,
first.
wait, Kevin
say
has
it.
a recommendation.
I
Kevin
don't- I
was
haven't
for our
watched any.
listeners. Kevin was signaling, no, I don't have recommendation.
Evan, you don't have to recommend something जो
No,
तुमने सिर्फ
no,
देखा
you
है.
don't.
Maybe you have experienced
Anything.
something. It can be any
Kevin-
damn thing.
No, Kevin, last 1 month or 2-3 months, if you remember watching something nice, you can even say that.
So
I
you
watched
think
this-
mine?
I watched this
Okay, yeah,
Malayalam
go.
movie called Kilometers and Kilometers, which is entertaining. I liked it. Actually, Amrit, you like it. It's a so we know.
Yeah.
अबे
I don't
बेशरम,
think I liked
मेरे
it. It's
मेरे
average.
बर्थडे पे ठीक है, शाम
Average.
को ये आके इस हम बेवड़े होके बैठने के लिए तैयार वो है, एंड इसने चलाई मूवी 10 मिनट के अंदर हमने बंद कर दी थी.
Okay.
और तू ये recommend कर रहा है सबको, Kevin.
Exactly why
you
I
were
told
too-
you I haven't
I-
watched
I-
any good thing. Other than, okay, I've already told
could be
this,
anything.
Innocent Man. The only thing I've already told you guys about this, I think I liked it, Innocent Man Bonke, the proper.
No, Kevin,
You've
you can
recommended
go
this before,
You can
but-
go all the way back to the beginning of the year. Say if there's something you saw.
But
I don't
anyway,
remember
it's okay.
now.
He doesn't
I
have any.
don't
He can't
remember.
remember now. So stop forcing
Yeah.
him, bichara. He's like,
Kevin,
putting
say
him on
it.
the spot.
Kevin, say it right now.
So like that I had to tell like forcefully. I only remembered kilometers and kilometers. I was like, चलो यही दे
Kevin,
देते हैं.
Kevin, the nation wants to know. अब बोल.
Pathetic, like.
So my one is going to be, if you're into gaming and you have a PlayStation 4, Spider-Man Miles Morales is probably the best Spider-Man story ever.
Abey,
This
you
new Spider-Man series.
ran through the name. Say the name slowly.
Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Okay.
It's probably the best Spider-Man. The PlayStation Spider-Man is probably the best Spider-Man story I've seen in
Life
compared to movies and comic books. Is probably the best version of it.
ever.
So I'd recommend that.
Very nice. Nice, yeah. Very good.
Thank
How
you. Thank you.
pointless. अर्नव तूने
Arnav,
तो
top
डॉक्यूमेंट्री
three.
बोली
Yeah.
थी.
Yeah,
Very good
ladies
documentary.
first, especially because
Yeah.
it's about Indian sports person who has struggled through सारी ups and downs and काफी inspiring है वो actually.
Archery के ऊपर
It's based on
documentary.
archery. It's on Deepika Kumari. I think she was ranked number 1 at one point of time.
I think she won the
Just
World Cup, but she got bronze.
She lost in Olympics, yeah.
Olympics में हार
But
गई थी
just
वो.
before Olympics, she was ranked number 1, which is a big deal. So
It's called Ladies First.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ladies
Okay.
first on Netflix.
Okay. Amrit.
I saw 20 plus minutes of a show called Signs on Netflix. 2020 release as seemed decent. That's my recommendation. देखा ही नहीं भाई. ये है
Chalo,
मेरा
very
free
good.
time.
We've all Arnav gave the only probably most useful recommendation only out of all
Because
three.
Cut out the recommendation part entirely. Arnav had already mentioned the series.
I'm keeping it in. I'm keeping it in because this is pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, the discussion was funny, Kevin, even if the material was
Anyway,
rubbish.
yeah. Anyway, that's it for this episode of the Vele podcast. Thanks for
Wow.
listening, guys. You
Such
can catch
productivity.
Bye-bye.
yes, the previous bye. You can catch the previous episodes of the Vele podcast. You can and this one on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube. Also, give us a follow on Instagram
Or
at
you can
VelePod.
not listen to the podcast on any of those platforms as you are right now.
You
so-
guys are burning an early grave for the podcast if we haven't done it already, Amrit.